Alright guys, welcome to another installment of my PGN Piano Lessons Gone Nuts series. Alright, I'm kind of doing a series within a series here with the circle of fifths. And we've already done 3 lessons. And make sure you've really studied the first 3 before you go on to this 4th lesson. Because what we're doing here is cumulative. It's architectural. You build one thing and build on top of that, on top of that, on top of that. It's like if you take a math class and you miss one of the classes, then you can't do anything after that because you need it. Everything builds on the next thing. So if you don't really have those first 3 lessons down, then you're not going to be able to go on here and do this. So I wouldn't be a good teacher unless I made sure you knew that first. So I'm going to ask you some questions that I'm not going to answer here. Okay, I'm going to ask you a few questions, then we're going to get to something new in this lesson. But let's review real quick, see if you can answer these questions. If you can't, you need to go back and study lessons 1, 2, 3. All right. As we go, now first, what is this thing called? I'll give you that one. It's called the circle of fifths. As we go this way on the circle of fifths, what are we doing? As we go this way on the circle of fifths, what are we doing? You should be able to answer that question from the previous lessons we've had. Let me ask you another question. Which key has 5 sharps? Okay, here's my quiz. Which key has 5 sharps? Do you know? All right. Now, after you've figured out which key has 5 sharps, tell me what the sharps are in order. Okay? Alright, here's the next question. You guys can answer these in the comments if you want to, if you have any questions about them. Just put a comment down there and I'll try to help you out. Which key has 3 flats? Okay, after you find out which key has 3 flats, tell me what the 3 flats are. Okay? Tell me what the 3 flats are. Now, here's the next question. What does it mean to say 2 keys are inharmonic? Okay, some of the keys that we have on here are inharmonic. You should be able to answer that as well. I'm not going to answer it here because I did it extensively in the other 3 lessons. But those are questions that you should be able to come up with fairly quickly if you really have the previous material. Okay, so we're going on in the next course, all right? Now, this is my music theory way of explaining music theory. You won't find it's laid out this way in a textbook. Okay, this is kind of the way I do it to help people understand. I tutored theory in college for many years, and I've taught it personally to people in my private lessons for many years. So this is just kind of the way that I do it. So let's go ahead today. Now we're going to discuss what it means to be in a key. Somebody says, oh, we're in the key of B flat. We're in the key of D. Well, what does that mean? We may know some things about that, but it's still kind of hazy. What does that mean to be in a key? Well, if we look at the piano keyboard, and this is why when you take music theory in college, no matter what you play, everybody has to take piano lessons. Everybody has to do music theory on a piano, even if you're a trombone player. Why? Because it's so easily laid out on piano. It's such a visual instrument. You can see all the tones so easily. That's why we do it on piano, okay? So if we're pianists already, we have a little bit of an advantage on understanding. Now, if we take all the keys, and we start on a C, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. When I get to the next one, it's a repeat of the C I started with. So there are what we call 12 semitones that we use in music. 12 semitones. Okay? And that's just including every key there. And we start over. So there are only 12 that repeat over and over all over the piano. Okay? So 12 semitones. Out of those 12 semitones, we will take what we call 7 diatonic scale degrees. Okay? When we're in a key, the key of C, for example, we're going to have 7 letters that we use, 7 diatonic scale degrees. And I could pick another key. Any one of these I want to pick, they're all going to have 7 diatonic scale degrees. Now, they're all going to be a different set of 7 letters, but they'll all have 7 because our music that we play is based on 7 keys, 7 letters, okay? So there's 12 altogether. You need to understand that. There's 12 altogether, 12 semitones. Out of those 12, we're going to pick a group of 7 for each key. Okay, I'm going to say that again. There are 12 semitones total. Out of those 12, we're going to pick 7 letters, 7 scale degrees for each key. Okay? We're going to start with the key of C because it's the easiest to understand because it's all the white keys on the piano. And we're going to learn what it means to be in a key. Now, it's kind of like if you are in one country, and it has its own set of rules and ways of doing things. Then you go to another country, they have their own set of rules, but they're still kind of the same, but they're different, all right? But you can depend on each country basically having the same, you can't kill anybody, you can't steal, you do this, you have to pay your taxes. Those are rules that you have in each country. That's how we're going to be in each key here. It's going to be sort of the same for each key, okay? So think of it like that. Each key here is a different country and has its own set of rules. All right, now, here we go with our scale. You still with me? All right, you got to pay attention here. This is a theory class, all right, in college, really, that you would take. All right, so the key of C we're going to take, it's what I call neutral. No sharps, no flats to worry about. Okay, so we get our scale. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now you've heard that la 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 la. People vocalize when they do their vocal lessons. La 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 la. All right, there's 7. You say, oh no, there was 8 because you played this one again. Oh, I don't count C again because I've already done C. C is a repeat of the first one. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. When I get to C, I'm just repeating the first one I already did. Okay? So there's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 scale degrees in the key of C. I went ahead and put another C here so that it would sound right to your ear. Because when you go da 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 da, you got to go da to finish it. Okay? So I put the C there. And I put in parenthesis 1 because it's a repeat of the first one. So you got that 7 scale degrees. That's our system. That's our palette. If we had we were painting, we'd have 7 colors. From those 7 colors, we're going to do all sorts of things with chords and chord progressions and melodies, okay? But we're going to use those 7. So when we're in a certain key, what we're doing is we're using certain keys out of those 12, and we're excluding the others. Okay? We're going to use these and exclude the others. If I wanted to play in the key of C and I just wanted to use those letters, I'm just taking all the white keys, okay? And I'm excluding the black ones. Now, sometimes, yes, we incorporate. There's always breaking of the rules, and we'll have sharps and flats within the key. But that's what it means to be in the key of C, is that we're going to use those 7 letters to do all sorts of things, okay? Now let's understand where we get the scale, because when we understand where the scale comes from, it's going to help us understand how to make the scale for every key on this circle, okay? All right, now let's watch. I start with the letter C. Now, to get to the letter D, I'm going to do what's called a whole step, okay? We're going to do a whole step. That means I'm going to not just go here's a half step. If I go to C sharp, that's a half step on the piano from one key to the very next key. But if I go to the next one, that's called a whole step. That's why I put a W there. So C to D is a whole step. Okay? D to E is also a whole step. Alright? So from scale degree 1 to scale degree 2 is a whole. From scale degree 2 to 3 is also a whole. There's the H. But look at this. From 3 to 4 is not a whole. It's a half step. So E to F is a half step, so I'll put an H there. This is the formula for making what's called a major scale, okay? Whole, whole, half. Now, from F to G, from 4 to 5, I'm going to do another whole step. So that I skip over F sharp and I go to G, so that's a whole step. Now from G to A is also a whole step. There's the W again because I skipped this one. A to B is a whole step. And then naturally, when we get back to number 1 again, there's a half step, see? Because there's no note in between. Right? So the formula for making a scale, you pick your note you're going to start on, and you go whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So start here, and I go whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And that's a scale. I could start on any letter here, any key, any note name, and do that formula and come up with a major scale. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Let's do it on D flat. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Okay? That's the formula for a major scale. We're going to take these notes and we're going to make chords and we're going to make melodies and all sorts of things. But you have to understand this formula first. The formula for a major scale, whole, whole, half, whole half, okay? So that's what I want to get out of today, is for you understanding this key of C, because once we understand it, we're going to apply it to the other keys. All right, so that's enough for this fourth lesson. Let's get to the fifth one and go a little further.